What is going on, you guys? It's your boy Average Bob, and in today's video, we're going to go through the highlights of the matchup last weekend between the Rams and the Giants. Giants lost 26-25, moved to 5-11. And this whole season has just gone completely off the rails. This is a game that seemed winnable at one point, but let's just talk through it as we go through the game. The Rams have actually, honestly, I kind of like their game that they've been playing. They found some diamonds in the rough between Kyron Williams and Puka Nacua. I actually had Puka in fantasy, and I got to the championship in both my leagues. Not that anyone really gives a shit, but I think he was very instrumental in getting me there. Just dealing with other highly drafted guys, like if you took T. Higgins, he screwed you the whole season. So it was nice to have Puka and a ray of sunshine there. It is crazy to see after all these years how still so hard Matt Stafford is able to just throw the ball as hard as he can. I kind of like the Rams as a little bit of a dark horse, and I mean it's tough to really say they just barely beat the Giants, who aren't very good, but it would be awesome too if we could get that matchup between the Rams and the Lions in the playoffs, where you get to see Matt Stafford go into the first Lions playoff game at home in 20 years, 21 years, which would be such a cool, and Goff too on the other side of things. It would just be such a cool matchup. But anyway, to talk about the Giants, Tyrod Taylor coming back in and starting, going 27 for 41 for 319 and for a touchdown and interception. Tyrod does throw a good deep ball, but I think his downfall in this game was really the short passing game. The 2-point conversion play, where he's just not close at all, but he is able to throw a deep ball. I do think after seeing Tyrod play a significant amount of time, I don't even care. Let's just keep talking. Tommy DeVito play a significant amount of time, and Daniel Jones playing a significant amount of time this year. I think I've seen enough of all three of them at this point to know that we have to move on and go somewhere else. Whether that's in the draft, I would prefer to go to the draft because it's a complete unknown. If we were to stay in the free agency realm, they're obviously not going to pay someone a significant amount of money to come in because you still have a Jones contract, which makes drafting someone very enticing because you'll have them for not much of a highly cost against your salary cap. Tyler Higbee was an absolute stud in this game, just goes to show you, the Giants really don't do a good job of ever stopping tight ends. And I did talk, I think I said Puka Nacua that they drafted in the 5th round, but another good guy I think they took the year before in the 5th round was this guy Kyron Williams, who honestly I personally had never even heard of until a couple weeks ago, and I was looking at fantasy and I was like, and I'm in a half PPR league, and I'm like, this guy's projected for 20-something points this week. How is this I've never seen a score that high in a while outside of maybe McCaffrey. So kudos to them because everyone was shitting on the Rams for such a long time. They're trading their first-round picks. They're going to win now, win now, win now, win now. First-round pick, first-round pick, first-round pick. Oh, they have no picks. They have no picks. And then they're finding guys that, you're looking at guys that, Puka Nacua could be in the conversation, possibly could win Rookie of the Year based on how strong of a season he had. So, that's what the Giants have really sorely lacked. And maybe it comes down to a veteran leadership perspective on the offense where if you have a guy like Matt Stafford and like Cooper Kupp and Higbee, it makes it easier to supplant guys like Puka Nacua or Kyron Williams, and they don't have to go all in on them, making them good. They can be complimentary and do what they do and help. And great play by Wanda Robinson on the reverse there. He was someone that I spoke about previously that said, I don't like how we use him sort of as a, old school Percy Harvin, where you're just trying to get him moving everywhere. Using him in the running game, the passing game, screens, reverses. So it's, maybe he is that guy. I'm glad, honestly, though, I'm glad to see him be a bright light in this terrible wide receiver room. And I'm going to do a whole breakdown on every single positional group after this next game, because I want to finish, as strong as the Giants didn't finish the season. Your boy Average Bob wants to go out on a high note this year and give us a really deep down look around every single position we had, what was good, what was bad, and what needs to be changed to be successful in the future. Yeah, and the Giants had some injuries. I wish Banks could have stayed healthy a little bit. But I will say someone who has stayed healthy this entire season, honestly, Bobby Okereke has got to be up there with one of the best Giants free agency signings, and I'm confident to say that after one freaking season. This is the problem. I don't even want to be mad at John Michael Schmitz, who's, I think, ranked like by Pro Football Focus as one of the worst centers in the league this season. I'm going to give him a pass. I'm just going to do it. He was hurt a little bit. He has to get better. He will get better. But when you go 4th and 1 after you've been snapping out of shotgun the entire time, and you're on, your third quarterback in, 15 games, that is something that happens. You will botch a snap. It happens. Like, even look at Alabama in the college football playoff the other day. Even at crunch time, the guy's having a low snap, even though it's out of shotgun. It just happens, and it's when you're moving guys around and making them uncomfortable, and you're asking them to do maybe a little too much in some situations. I mean, obviously, we're talking about a snap here, so like, have we asking the center to snap too much? I don't know. Maybe he's shitting his pants a little bit, but he's got fucking Aaron Donald lined up across from him. I probably would be too, and so would you. But and it's a learning curve, because the other guys on that front line played great too, and that was a hold right there. I'm already blanking on this because I'm already doing this. This is Saturday. I'm supposed to do it a while ago, but I was sick all week. So, this maybe wasn't my year. I like the Giants too. But Tyrod Taylor gets sacked 6 times. And I just feel bad for John Michael. I mean, but here's the thing, guys. He's coming from Minnesota. He's stepped up into a role that he was an immediate starter in this offense. There was no competition for someone else to play here, as they had gotten rid of Feliciano and Nick Gates. This was his job from day one. That's a pretty big task to put on a guy who's playing at a completely different level, albeit he is 24 years old, but he's got to need time. All these guys need time. And all it is at the end of the day is reps and getting better. And that's what fucking pisses me off so much about Evan Neal not playing and being dog shit this entire season, is he lost a lot of good reps, and there's no way he got better in any way, shape, or form. So when I talk about the O-line in our recap video next week, I'm going to spend a significant amount of time talking about him, because I truly don't think he could be a successful player on our team anymore at this point, and I can no longer trust him, which makes me impact this whole next draft, where I think you probably have to draft a tackle and figure out another position for him to play or get rid of him. It is funny to see Mason Crosby out here still doing the damn thing. This is a solid pocket. And Waller, I do like Waller, but he is it's funny to say, like, I just turned 35. But Waller's like, 32, 33 or something. And he's just like, he can get downfield, but like every time he's hit, he's hitting Tyrod too. They're just like, every time they hit, they're just like, fuck. I don't know if this paycheck's worth it anymore. Which kind of sucks. But hey, you know what? Who didn't? I just hate when we have a guy with freaking 11 sacks and we're dropping him in the coverage. But look at him chug. Look at Aziz chug. Or blah, Kayvon chug. And that, honestly, for you guys, that really wouldn't have even mattered in my fantasy matchups because I got blown out. But Kyron Williams, man, this guy's freaking... Kobe Turner was the defensive lineman I was thinking about, too. So here you go. You're 20 to 10. A lot of missed field goals. It was the MetLife Turf Monster impacting the extra points and field goals. But yeah, the Giants, there's an upcoming nice play at some point to Darius Slayton. But Saquon, we could be looking at tomorrow versus Eagles, really his last game as a Giant. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was, because as you guys have seen so far this season, as the Giants are 5-10, there's a lot of glaring holes here. Let me be clear, I love Saquon Barkley to death, but I do not think spending money on your aging running back is a proven successful thing. to win games. This is an absolute dime, this will be the only time I go back in this video, because look at this. He's airing this out on the 10-yard line, 12-yard line, and this goes all the way to the other 25. You know, he might get hit and act look like he's dying every time he gets hit, but he can throw a fucking good deep ball, dude. Like, and then also Darius Slayton, like, I feel like Darius Slayton had the ability to be unlocked this entire season. And they missed the extra point there. He had the ability to be unlocked this entire season, and it never really happened the way it should have. And that's for a number of different reasons. But, you know, Slayton right now is 700 receiving yards with 3 touchdowns. Like, this wide receiver room and really underperformed. And another person you're going to see potentially in their last game alongside Saquon versus the Eagles will be Sterling Shepard, who we'll always love as Giants fans, right? He's our guy. He's young Shep. But unfortunately, he hit a roadblock of injuries, and especially, you know, it's not surprising to me, guys, because remember how good Hakeem Nicks was back in the day? All it took for really to derail him was a foot problem. Victor Cruz blew out a knee, and NFL, not for long. It's fucked up. But you know what? At least these guys have gotten paid for the extent of what they've given to the Giants, whether in the locker room or maybe not always on the field because they were hurt. But honestly, it just sucks for Sterling. I didn't think he really, outside of his sophomore year, he never really had a great season, because when you were looking at it, you know, there was a time where I think it was like Sterling Shepard, Brandon Marshall, and Odell, because I think Cruz was done, but it might have been that. And then the Dolphins game that year, Brandon Marshall, and I think everyone got hurt like immediately. It was just like, season's over. But I'm glad to see again Wan'Dale bounce back off the ACL surgery. Tyree Phillips did a good job at right tackle, and then I'm surprised like Slayton is pretty decent at these drag routes, and I would have liked to see them get him involved earlier in the season with those, because, you know, for all the dumb fucking asshole plays we do on 3rd and whatever, you know, that's a play that could work, right? Especially if linebackers are too slow to cover him. Why don't we ever try that? I don't know. I think the offensive play calling this year was very, very bizarre. I really don't know if I like Mike Kafka, because just looking at like what you're seeing with that Tyrod Taylor bomb, Daniel Jones would never do that, because Daniel Jones was too afraid to ever hold the ball long enough to do it, or you know, turn it over or even take a shot. So it's like, how can you in a 2023-2024 offense be afraid to take shots downfield? Watch any other game across the league. Bombs after bombs after bombs. It's freaking Outcast bombs over Baghdad out there. Like, it's people just take shots the entire game. We don't do that. We go on 4th and 1, and our rookie wide receiver runs a yard backwards on a drag. Like, we have to be smarter than that. And I think you saw after that play, Dable kind of coaching him up a little bit, being like, whatever. Like, we have to learn from these mistakes, because maybe in 2 years, 3 years, there will be a meaningful, impactful play in the Giants' season and maybe in the playoffs, and Jalen Hyatt's going to have to go 2 yards deeper if they call that number again.
Taylor, pressure coming again, and he's wide of the target.
It was just a tough year, guys. I mean, did I say that before? Yeah, I talked about Bobby Okereke. Who else could we talk about on the defense? Like, Adoree Jackson, is that someone that comes back? He's going to be 27. I mean, you know, I think you do need a little bit of veteran leadership in your secondary. There's Okereke right there. He's an absolute beast. You do need some veteran leadership in your secondary for the younger guys, like, you know, Banks and Hawkins and Cordell Flott. And, you know, it was also funny to see, you know, because the Giants didn't pay Julian Love last year, and he goes to the Seahawks. And, yeah, we got to make that tackle. And then Gunnar Olszewski, to the 40, the 50, the 40, 30. Men out front. I almost thought 47 was going to take a block in the back there, and I was going to cry because it was so unnecessary. But just how he wrote it up, guys. White, punt returner, Gunnar Olszewski. So after you see Tyrod Taylor throw it from the opposite 25 or the 12 to the opposite 25, rolling out Saquon. I mean, 53 is there, but guys, how many times have we been in this position where Saquon one-on-one with linebacker, he's going to juke him out of his shoes. There's no one in the league that can cover him. And you throw it behind. 74 is definitely someone I don't want to see ever play again. I don't know, guys. I feel bad for Tyrod, to be completely honest with you. But hey, the Giants play pretty decent there, and get the ball back and have a chance to win the game. I think Isaiah Simmons, that trade, he's someone I wouldn't give him any money to come back, but I would re-sign him if he wanted to come back for no money. He's an interesting guy. He doesn't have a position. For what it's worth, right? When we talk about guys with no positions, it always sounds cool, like in NCAA or Madden. He's an athlete, right? He could play anywhere, but sometimes it helps to have a position to play. And that's our show for this morning. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.